If someone come to the field Negro and said, let's separate, let's run, he didn't say, where are we going? He said, any place is better than here. You got field Negroes in America today. I'm a field Negro. The masses are the field Negroes. When they see this man's house on fire, you don't hear these little Negroes talking about our government is in trouble. They say the government is in trouble. Imagine a Negro, our government. I even heard one say our astronauts. They won't even let him near the planet. And our astronauts. Our Navy, that's a Negro that's out of his mind. That's a Negro that's out of his mind.
You see, many of us can only love our enemies because we haven't read it and we forgot. Many of us don't want to read it because it does fill us with anger and hatred and fear and so forth. Many of us avoid Black history because we try to avoid the fear and the anger and the bad feelings it's going to produce in us. But when we avoid it, it also means that we avoid knowing ourselves and who we are as a people. Of course, the slavery is another adventure. Jim Crowism, racial discrimination, all of this. Yet at the end of all of this, why is it that we want to marry these people? Why is it that we want to sleep with them and live with them and roll with them? Why is it we just forget all of the things that they have done to our grandparents and our great-grandparents and the things they're doing to us right now and the things they're going to do to us in the future? You see, why do we do that, you see? Why do we want hair like them? Why do we want noses like them? Why do we want skin color like them? Why do we want to talk like them and walk like them and be like them after they have done all of this kind of stuff to us as a people? Why do we love them more than we love ourselves? Have you ever thought about that kind of issue? And yet this happens all the time. And it is a very standard thing in psychology. We call it love for the aggressor, identity with the aggressor, where one loves the one that persecutes them, in an unhealthy sort of way, and identifies with the person that persecutes them. To a good extent, the relationship between African peoples and white people is a father-child relationship. We think of ourselves as weak, powerless against the white man. We see him as the source of gifts, the source of blessing. He gives us the jobs, he gives us the protection, he gives us the food, he provides the water, he provides the housing, he provides this, he provides that. You see? And we also think because we're weak, we cannot go directly against him to destroy him, even though he hurts us, even though he degrades us, even though he frustrates us, even though he enslaves us and discriminates against us. We still don't quite get up the drive to say, well, I'm going to destroy this person who degrades me and who is destroying me. Because we feel as if we need him in some kind of way, that we can't live without him. He also tells us that you suffer because you have a different color.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. Hopefully, y'all can hear me okay. I think that y'all can. And let me say this. I know it's late, you know what I'm saying? I had to take care of some stuff and then but I'm still here because I missed a couple Sundays already, so I don't want to keep doing that, you know what I mean? Like cuz I'm trying to be more consistent. But then at the same time, I ain't trying to be like, I don't know when I'm gonna go live, y'all, I'm gonna be real with you. Because if I don't have nothing to say, I don't have nothing to say. I don't like forcing it or trying to come on here just because, And usually it's because I'm like kind of turned up about a particular thing or something like that. But Anyway, um, I wanted to come on here and talk to y'all, and of course discuss some good things, and we'll see what happens, you know what I'm saying? And but anyway, so let me get started. And you know how we do, right? We always talk about history, right? Because who do you love? If you don't love yourself, the answer is nobody, right? And nobody can love you if you don't have that love for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, and that takes repetition. It takes practice. You know what I'm saying? You have to be actively loving yourself. It's not something that you can just stand by or whatever. You have to go attack it and conquer it. You know what I'm saying? And once you find that love for yourself, it doesn't even matter what happens on the outside. You know what I'm saying? You use that to nurture what it's supposed to be. And once you have love for yourself, then comes boundaries, right? No, first comes love, no, then comes boundaries, right? After the love, because you ain't gonna let nobody take that or disrespect that in the first place, right? And then all boundaries comes with consequences once they are violated. But if you don't even have, because I can't say we love anybody, because I know I say that we love everybody and we don't love ourselves, but that's not true, because you can't love everybody if you don't love yourself. You don't even know what love is if you can't love yourself, right? And then we turn around and wonder why, hey, why nobody love me, man? Well, you know and like the brother said, right, if you don't want to know your history, then you're doomed to repeat it. Right. So let this brother tell the story, right? Start the story.
When Shaka Zulu was assassinated in 1828, something extraordinary disappeared from the world. And I'm not talking about the man. To understand what I mean, you have to start at the beginning, because the standard version of the story skips the part that actually matters. Shaka was born around 1787, the same decade Napoleon was rising in Europe, the same decade the American Constitution was being ratified. While these events were unfolding on the other side of the world, in the eastern coastal region of what is now South Africa, a child was born, illegitimate, rejected by his father's clan, raised in exile with a mother the community had already decided to humiliate. That child would go on to build one of the most history of the African continent, starting with fewer than 1,500 people. Let that land for a second. Fewer than 1,500. By the time of his death, he commanded over 50,000 warriors and governed 250,000 people. He didn't inherit an empire. He engineered one from the ground up, using ideas nobody around him had thought to try. The traditional weapon of the region was long meant for throwing, a weapon that kept you at a distance from your enemy. Shaka replaced it with something shorter, broader bladed, built for close combat. He called it the Ikawa. The name comes from the sound it made when pulled from the body. That tells you something about how he thought about war, not as ceremony, but as conclusion. He reorganized the entire army by age. Young men were grouped into regiments, not by clan loyalty, not by family connection, but by generation. They trained together, they lived together, developed identity together. This wasn't just military efficiency, it was social engineering. He was building loyalty to something larger than tribe. And then he invented a battlefield formation that military historians still study today. The bullhorn, Impondo Zankomo in Zulu. A chest to engage the enemy directly. Two horns sweeping wide to encircle, a reserve held back, ready to plug any gap. Elegant, disciplined, devastating. Historians have compared it to the tactics of Roman legions. One called him the Black Napoleon, not as a diminishment, but as a scale reference. This was not a regional leader managing a small territory. This was a military and organizational mind that commanded the attention of the British Empire, which 50 years after his death still found the Zulu army a serious military problem. So that's who we're talking about. That's what he built. Now, here's the part nobody talks about. In 1828, Shaka was assassinated by his own half-brothers. And within a decade, 10 years, almost everything he built was gone. Not defeated from the outside, unraveled from within. His successor, Dingani, inherited the throne, the army, the territory, and proceeded to lose all of it. Not because he was uniquely incompetent, but because what Shaka had built wasn't really a system. It was an extension of one man's mind.
Oh, and I'm not going to say anything about that dictatorship thing instead of building a system right there. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Cuz there has to be a system in place there to protect you regardless of whatever it is. It doesn't matter who you place in it. A coon to the most fierce warrior that we have for us. And within this system, if you break this law, this is the punishment you have. If John Brown violates Candace Owens under these laws, he must be face consequences because there is a system in place there to protect us and to ensure not only our survival but our thrival, us thriving. That's what we want, is just survival, right? And now that we got pretty close to survival, or so we think, right? Unless we turn on the internet or the news and we see a brother getting shot by the police or something like that. Now the next step is comfort, right? This is where we got disillusioned at, you know what I mean? But anyway, let me keep going.
And that man was gone. The military innovations survived in form, but the strategic intelligence behind them, the instinct for when and how to deploy them, the vision of what they were building toward, that died in September of 1828 in a grain pit where Shaka's body was hastily buried. This is where most people reach for the obvious conclusion. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. The tyrant falls. The kingdom collapses. Lesson learned. But that framing misses the actual failure. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's a real observation. It describes what power does to the person who holds it. And yes, Shaka's later years were erratic, brutal, paranoid. That part is true. But that's not the structural failure I'm pointing to. The structural failure is this. Shaka never converted what he knew into something anyone else could carry. Every insight he had, the close combat logic of the Ikawa, the encirclement geometry of the bullhorn, the social cohesion built through the regimental system, all of it lived in him. He could deploy it, he could command it, but he never built the institutional layer beneath it, never translated instinct into principle, never gave anyone else the why, which is the only part that lets you adapt when conditions change. And here's the mechanism worth understanding, because this isn't unique to Shaka, and it isn't unique to ancient kingdoms. Every person with genuine mastery eventually faces a choice. Do you convert what you know into something transferable, something others can learn, adapt, carry forward? Or do you hold it, keep it yours? That choice feels personal, but it has structural consequences.
Or do you implement it within a community with certain guidelines that does not be violated? But I don't
When
want
you
to play the game.
institutionalize what you know, when you build the principle beneath the instinct, teach it, let others stress test it, you give up a certain kind of irreplaceability. You are no longer the only one who can do this. And for people whose sense of worth is tied to being the only one, that trade feels like self-erasure.
And by the way, it's bigger than me, right? If they take me out today, this energy will find the next young brother up there who may even do it better than me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, it's bigger than, it's not like this energy was here before me and it'll be here after me, right? But I will be a vessel for this energy.
So they don't make it. And what gets lost isn't just their legacy. What gets lost is the compounding. The next person who could have taken that foundation and built something greater, they never get the foundation. They start over. Or they inherit a pale imitation of what they don't fully understand. This is the cost that doesn't show up in the obituary. It shows up a decade later when everything that looked like an institution turns out to have been a person.
And see, this is what me and Cassidra was talking about, generational, you know, what we was calling our stuff, generational curses or generational changes, or what, you know, what we was calling our lives, you know, because this is a generational thing, right? You can have a dictator, it might be good for 5, 10 years, but what happens if he gets assassinated? Is it done? Right? Who does it go to if he dies at 98? Is his son? Is the son going to be automatically just as good? You know what I'm saying? Or which son? What would they fight each other for? But that's a whole nother conversation. You know what I'm saying? But the fact is building things and passing it down generationally. Because understanding something about this system, it was built through the generations as they faced all of the stuff that we've done, right? And so they've realized different ways to keep us enslaved, you know?
And the person is gone. Shaka Zulu was one of the most brilliant military and organizational minds of his era, on any continent, by any measure. And it's only through the long view of history that we can fully appreciate what he could have delivered to his people, if any of it had been built to outlast him. The extraordinary thing that disappeared in 1828 wasn't just a king. It was everything he never taught anyone else to build.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Shaka Zulu, which is an interesting conversation. And I'll have this conversation if others ever do watch, you know what I'm saying? And I get it. I play a part in it by not giving warnings and letting people know and coming on at random times and stuff like that. But that's cool. We'll work it out. But a conversation about Shaka Zulu, because I myself wouldn't, I'm not, I'll save that for later. But anyway, he was right, man, because he said, hey, when the pale face comes, it's over for you. And damn if it wasn't true, right? The pale face showed up with all kind of tactics, you know what I'm saying? And now you got a white boy leading the Zulu chant, you know what I'm saying? And Shaka is probably turning over in his grave. So what can I say about his tactics when the other way seems to have failed terribly? But anyway, some of the things and the curses that fall upon this, you know what I'm saying? Let's just go with it.
Not be televised.
White man does the popular dance, the whoa, while reporting the weather. Comment section reads, Tom definitely invited to the cookout. Another video shows a white man dancing on stage and the caption reads, it's obvious why Mark is invited to the cookout. When we
Obvious.
slide like black lightning across the backyard and turn it into a dance for the cookout, be sacred. But ain't that just like us? Inviting everyone into our holy place is crazy. How all you got to do is know how to Dougie to dodge accountability. Wash white privilege out with a whip and a nay-nay, they call it muscle memory. They've been whipping nay-nay for centuries. Crazy how when we dance, we get called coons. But Brad dances and gets an honorary plate full of ribs. We keep feeding them like they didn't force chitlins down our throats. Keep dancing.
And some of y'all still putting those chitlins down y'all throat.
They shuck and jive their way to acceptance, and it's appalling how easily we forget just because Becky can footwork and Allie makes foo-foo. Invitations for the cookout flying off the shelf in the comment section. Hey, bro, do you remember when we invited one of them to our Bible study? 9 of us were told well done that night. So excuse my caution for Caucasians casually crip walking for convenience, lying and line dancing, looking like a fool. The cookout. Man, they used to cook us out over open fires, cut pieces of our flesh off, mason jar our hands, claiming can't nobody catch a beat like him. They watching Soul Train reruns, but won't let us teach their children about the Underground Railroad. So look, since when did dancing erase Jim Crow? Since when did dancing erase school to prison pipeline? Since when did dancing erase redlining? So before you mail out your cookout invitations, remember that they used to think of us as stiff body boogie down chattel. They used to make us dance across the decks of ships, and some of us leapt to freedom gracefully. The break of the water surface was a pearly gate, a jetty into the Lord's arms, and the cookout so packed with pale faces, it ain't no room for my grandkids, and I refuse to ask for space. In my space, I'm indigenous to the groove and the potato salad. Invite me to the country club. Hold the casserole. Let's talk about reparations. Maybe then we could talk about cookouts until that happened. All cookout invitations are revoked. Period. Management.
And by the way, before I revoked the cookout, Shaka Zulu revoked all cookouts in the 1800s. So, yeah, shouts out to Shaka Zulu. But yeah, cookouts have been canceled for a few years now, and for another, like, we got only 199 years to go. We got it better though. It ain't 200.
On my lunch break, I'm sitting there watching videos on Instagram, and question popped in my head. Why are we so forgiving as Black folks? Why are we so forgiving of those that choose to do us wrong on a daily? Why are we so accepting of those that come to steal our culture? Those that come to take our cultural things that we make and use them for their benefit. I watched one video where a white girl was talking. She said another white guy tried to talk to her. And mind you, the whole time in the video, she got her Black voice on. And she said she told the white boy when he tried to talk to her, this fountain is only for color people. And she meant it in a way that she only dated Black guys. But to me, it wasn't funny because you used the word color. And for you to use that humor for that, and you could see Black people in the comments saying they little thing. Nobody really, fights against that type of stuff.
It's like this brother is like reading the first chapter of the rocket science book. You know what I'm saying? His eyes is being opened as we see. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is Black people so damn forgiving? You know why? Good question.
I noticed this N word. When we was growing up.
All right, brother. I appreciate it. But because the thing is here, I want you to hear this in particular. So this is the thing, right? Because if we understood who we were and we had some type of love for ourselves, right, it would probably cripple the world, right? Not only boost us up, but it would probably cripple everybody else, right? And none of my business, right? My only business is lifting us up, right?
At a time when, because of the Supreme Court decision in Calais, that you're seeing southern states move quickly to try to chop up and eliminate Democratic seats, many of them held by African Americans, it's likely that the Congressional Black Caucus, the numbers in the Congressional Black Caucus, are going to be much smaller in the next Congress, regardless of what Democratic wins there are. So I'm curious if in the course of doing these deliberations about this, if you had conversations with Hakeem Jeffries, with members of the Congressional Black Caucus, and what they told you about the prospect of you going into a seat that has traditionally, for the last 3 decades, been held by an African American.
Yes, I have. I am very close with my CBC colleagues and obviously close with Leader Jeffries.
But did anyone in the Congressional Black Caucus?
Yeah, Black folks.
Oh, my bad. That was the wrong part, y'all. I know y'all caught up on that. I'm still hiding under my bed, so I ain't gonna talk about that right now. I ain't gonna make y'all stop talking to me because I stopped saying, hey, it ain't no matter who for me, right? It's a particular who, right? What are you gonna do for Black? Well, that's a whole nother
theory. I think it's a very good idea. Like, let's talk macro. If all Black Americans boycotted any industry, it would the economy.
Wait. Because we might got something here, right? Because if I tell you this, nobody will be here, right? So let's bring in our special guest white bitch here to bring everybody else in. You know what I mean?
by Alyssa Farah Griffin. Here you go.
Theory, I think it's a very good idea. Like, let's talk macro. If all Black Americans boycotted any industry, it would the economy would crumble.
Yeah, right.
Arts, music, doctors, everything like that. Of course, that is a powerful way to protest, but it's putting in my mind too much of the onus on young people who did not create the problem that we're in.
Yeah.
I see.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Now, did they create the problem we're in? No. Is it their responsibility to just put themselves and then the next generation after them of their children in particular even in a better position? Yes, it's always going to be ours. It's not our responsibility or our fault. I mean, it's not our fault either, right? We didn't do this either. But it comes to a point where we got to stop talking about generational curses and realize, right, no amount of comfort, you can't be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Even if the lion fed the sheep every night, got it the best grass it wanted and a wine every night, you know what I'm saying, for 10 years, that sheep could never be all the way comfortable, right? And then on the first day of the 11th year, the lion turned back into a lion, which is crazy, you know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother story. But the point is, right, you put your money where your mouth is, right? But it takes us not being comfortable to put our money where, not that we want freedom, but that we want comfort. And our comfort is being threatened. Now, I'm a black revolutionary. Like, damn, I went to the black revolutionary meeting this week and it was like for years it's been empty and now it's crowded. Now black revolutionaries everywhere. But the problem is they like because of this administration, as if the last 48, 49, whatever administrations haven't there has been much worse. I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying? If we had looked at our history, right, it would make us want to be like, why would I want go to a white institution? Because shit, they can't cook that good anyway. And they use disgusting practices. And I know that that black woman or that brother can cook their ass off anyway, right? Or any field that you look in, right? The other side of integration is like you look around in every industry, you have black people doing this. And I'm pretty sure there is a black person who is like, yo, I know I'm black and for black in every industry and every. Yo, my bad. I kicked myself off. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. Let me make sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, but there's black people in every industry, in every field, and I'm pretty sure even if it may be 1%, but that 1% of every black person in every industry getting together, not to be like, hey, I trust everybody, but hey, well, let's discuss we won't shop at Target this month or the next 6 months or at forever, but we can start off rational. We won't shop at Target this week. We won't shop at Walmart this week. We won't shop at such and such this week. Or we'll all take vacation at the same and see how much it would cripple their industry. Or you could put your monies together, but there is a lot of distrust when it comes to money. So maybe we even got to start off even more basic as something that we can all feel like we can contribute to, but we don't necessarily feel like we're losing something for contributing to it. Like, let's get together and discuss who we not shopping with for this month. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm gonna let the white girl tell you because you might listen to her and not me.
Farah Griffin. Here you go.
Theory, I think it's a very good idea. Like, let's talk macro. If all Black Americans.
My 804, what's up? What's up? I'm glad you're here. You know, I appreciate you for sure. What's up, bro? Much love to you, bro. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you, bro. All right. But let's get back to it.
Theory, I think it's a very good idea. Like, let's talk macro. If all Black Americans boycotted any industry, the economy would
Yeah,
crumble.
right.
Arts, music, doctors, everything. Like that powerful way to protest, but it's putting in my mind too much of the onus on young people who did not.
Now, unfortunately, the onus is on each individual, right? It's on each individual to love thyself, right? And to practice loving thyself, which would increase the love that you receive, but it will also decrease the disrespect that you receive, right? And that's the thing that is a lesson that every young person must learn. The onus for yourself is always going to be on you, unfair or fair, right? Take advantage of whatever circumstance that there is, right? Even your weaknesses have advantages if you can, um, calm your emotions and just use your emotions for what they're supposed to be used for. You know what I mean? But um, the problem is though, right? We just want
Does she make a
comfort,
song?
right? And everybody knows that. That's the problem. Everybody knows that. Hell, whatchamacallit said, you voting? Never mind. Let me stop because I'm not trying to start any problems with anybody. But I want you to hear this, right? Because now that I'm not the only woke revolutionary, now that Trump, the Great White Hope, has woken a lot of black people up. And by the way, the Great White Hope always loses, right? Because they just suck, right? Look up what happened to the Great. They lost, right? The original Great White Hope lost to Jack Johnson and this Great White. But that's not the point. He has woken up all of these black revolutionaries, right? Who's telling these black athletes like, well, let's put our money where our mouth is then, right? Now let's fight for this. And that's the thing though, we can have our own store. You could be wherever you are and have a store or a place where you can go get fresh fruit in what we quote unquote call the hood, right? And all that stuff comes from like education and how generations are raised, right? But if you have a group of people in poverty, as my good brother MG2 once said, I can listen to Elijah Muhammad and believe in everything he say and even join the NOI next week. But if I'm hungry tonight, I'm probably gonna have a ham sandwich before I become a Muslim and swear off, right? Once I'm hungry, I'm probably gonna eat a ham sandwich again, right? And it's hard for us to ask a younger generation to do something if the older generation hasn't done nothing for the younger generation, right? And I'm not speaking for the older generation towards me. I'm speaking towards me, towards the younger generation, right? Because we can all do a lot better, especially me, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be real with you, but the whole key is you can support yourself by doing all the things that you need to do, by knowing that you don't need nobody else but yourself, right? Because I love me, like, so who else love do I need? You know what I'm saying? I don't need no acceptance. Nobody can tell me to put my head in a barrel and laugh. You know what I'm saying? That's a
And let's just have this conversation real quick. We're gonna go through some hypotheticals as well.
I mean, I said it.
oh, and I would say to this brother, it also counts for who you're married to, but that's another conversation. See, I'm not hard on the
Yeah.
corners, y'all.
I mean, I said it 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Let them break away. I'd say I would turn it around and say we should break away from them. Let them go, but they have to go in all their sports and see how fun it is to play baseball and softball and track when it's just the 20 of you, and that's what I think we should do. But I'm one person.
And by the way, y'all should say something if y'all are listening because I can't see anything. It'd be saying 0 on my end all the time. And I don't even know if anybody there because a lot of times it'd be people there, but it'd be quiet. You know what I'm saying? But, that's cool too. But you hear what he's saying, right? He said, let him go, right? Because these Negroes just want comfort and equality. They don't want freedom, right? I dare you to go make your own stuff, right? There's only going to be 10 of y'all in the Black Revolutionary meeting anyway. And the rest of them going to be protesting, trying to get back into the American club. You know what I'm saying? And with the anybody but Trump, although the next one that puts you See, I keep going back to that. I'm gonna stop. That's what got me in trouble in the first place, y'all. That's what got me exiled. Maybe they are. Matter of fact, Raw, do you think they still having cookouts? I've been to cookouts, but I don't got no power. They kicked me out the cookout anyway, so they ain't gonna listen to me. The white girl got to come to the cookout and tell them, "Hey, you guys, you should stop. You should use your wealth to support the white bitches." You know what I'm saying? Because that's who benefited from DEI and affirmative action and all that stuff and welfare and all them programs that got cut. I ain't getting none of that stuff. I know some black people did, and I feel sorry for the black people, and I think that black people should take advantage of every resource as possible because that's what you deserve. You know what I'm saying? You deserve that. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, back to this white boy daring you to go build your own institution.
I'd say I would turn it around and say we should break away from them. Let them go, but they have to go in all their sports and see how fun it is to play baseball and softball and track when it's just the 20 of you, and that's what I think we should do. But I'm one person, and that's probably a little more draconian.
Oh, the cookout is when a white person dances or something, and black people go, "Oh, I love you. He's black. He one of us, y'all." And then he turn around and you know, do some Neanderthal practices. But we got kicked out, so I don't know what a cookout is anyway. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was us coming together as a family, but no, we invited outsiders, so I don't know what a cookout is either. To be fair, me and you got kicked out anyway, Raw. So, and I might get Karma 804 kicked out if she keep listening to me.
I would turn it around and say we should break away from them. Let them go, but they have to go in all their sports and see how fun it is to play baseball and softball and track when it's just the 20 of you, and that's what I think we should do. But I'm one person, and
Yeah, gotta go when it's only the whole team is only you, and it's not even those 2 or 3 white players anymore. Let's see how much fun you guys have with those Negro leagues. Well, actually, right? Have you asked Satchel Paige or any of those brothers? Don't ask. That's disrespectful. I'm being disrespectful, but I was about to say don't ask Jackie Robinson that, but that's disrespectful. Shouts out to Jackie Robinson. He said, "Go do it, right? Go have your own stuff, right? You wanna?" Then I'll tell you, shut up and dribble if it's for black growth and then black empowerment. I'd be like, shut up and dribble then, but for now, you know what I'm saying? He's saying, I dare you to do it, right? But it's one thing then, but when, as my brother Khalid Muhammad said, when Phil Jackson running up and down the sideline saying, "Where are all my Negroes? Where are all my niggas?" But right before tip off, you would know those brothers are revolutionary. But right now, a lot of brothers got to go to sleep because they got to get up for work in the morning. And look, for me, it's Friday. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I'm on here now. Like y'all Friday was like my Monday, and now y'all Sunday night is my Friday. So I'm here, right? Because I know what this is. It's called slavery, y'all. So use all of the benefits that you can to escape slavery. To me, like anyone that be like, "Oh no, you need to get off good," they got drapetomania. You know what I'm saying? That was when they think they the ones who's actually sick when you're the ones who's getting freedom. So use all of the stuff that you can to beat their system and live like you was supposed to live and enjoy your life. You know what I mean?
break away. I'd say I would turn it around and say we should break away from them. Let them go, but they have to go in all their sports and see how fun it is to play baseball and softball and track when it's just the 20 of you, and that's what I.
By the way, you see how he stopped at baseball and polo, rugby. See how many of you Negroes out there playing rugby? Now the lucrative sport like football and you know what I'm saying, but hockey now. Even though a black person invented hockey, I get it. You know what I'm saying, but as today, you know what I mean. But yeah, let's see how many let's see you one Negro who want to play water polo and see how you do. Now, as for basketball and football, the lucrative sports that makes these colleges billions of dollars who don't pay these damn athletes, but then they turn around and create institutions for their government, their system that they've created. You know what I'm saying? Because these colleges that make all this money, like Alabama and all them white schools that make all these money off these black athletes, billions of dollars per year, then they turn around and put it into astronomy, like astronomy divisions or whatever, like they feel like is necessary, all kind of divisions, medicine, right, and just in science in general, right, and to different institutions and different um um things, teaching their generations about how to pass down the system that they've inherited, whether it be math, science, or this anything that has to do with the STEM programs, or even anything in the technology field with computers or whatever. You know what I mean? Or how to produce the computers in the first place with the actual natural material. That's what they use all of this money that they create, right, to create their scientists and the next people that runs their country is funded off of brothers running into each other with a helmet on and ended up with CTE. You know what I'm saying? But
I think we should do, but I'm one person, and that's probably a little more draconian.
where
But
are my
that's how I feel
niggas?
about it. Like, let's quit.
Imagine the whatever school he coaches, one of them SEC schools, and they right before the game time. He got a good point with water polo, right? But when it comes to Alabama football and Saban or whoever the coach is there now, I don't know, running up and down the sideline saying, "Where are my niggas?" And see how much those cheering white boys in the stands who painted themselves red, right? Who say "shut up and dribble," right? Who's you their hero on Saturday or Sunday, but Tuesday afternoon, while you in the thing trying to get some food from whatever, you know what I'm saying? Trying to walk back to your dorm or something, and they don't know who you are. Anyway, I'm off the point, you know.
Quit talking about it. Quit threatening.
All right. So as you heard,
I said, stop threatening me. I know you ain't gonna do nothing. You know what I mean? Ain't gonna do
this
nothing.
guy says at the end, he said, "Quit talking about it. Quit threatening." You know what?
You know
I
what?
agree with him. Let me give him a hand clap. I agree with him. You know what? I want to see at least one season of the NFL with no black players. I would like to see one.
Hold on, I thought we were supposed to be boycott. I never got the memo that we stopped boycotting the NFL since 2016. Like, what the hell? Damn, I need to send me the memo so I can go watch a basketball or something. I stopped with I thought we was gonna stop with the Kyrie Irving thing. Oh, damn, my bad. I missed the memo that we back to it. Sorry, let me get off of here so I can go watch the game.
Season of the NFL. Well, they're gonna be some black players because you got the Africans in there. Let me say that the Africans not gonna leave, so they're gonna have a couple of them still around. So let me make sure I say that because we can't depend on the Africans. I'm sorry, we just can't. Not as a collective to do what we got to do. But if it's the FBAs, let me say that much. I love to see a season without no FBAs in the NFL. I love to see a season of the NBA without us there. I love to see a whole season with none of us on any of their field. And if we do play football, whatever, we do it at HBCU. But with this situation with the SEC, they can just get in the transfer portal.
By the way, it's not just the SEC, right? It's a brother going from Jackson State to Colorado or whatever, right? And then all the Negroes going to support him, like we need this. This helps integration, and this is what you wanted the whole time is integration. That's what you wanted. Now I'm saying, see, this is the problem, right? When we be like, yo, black people, when we're fighting for something, what are we fighting for? This is what we probably have to discuss. What is the goal, right? Is the goal to be integrated fully into a European Epstein type system, you know what I'm saying, where their president can have felonies and, you know what I'm saying, eat babies and, you know what I'm saying, talk about rape and have sex with his own daughter. Is this what, or build your own institutions and have them running up and down the sideline saying, "Where are my niggas?"
They ain't got to quit playing football. They can just get in the transfer portal and say, "Listen, I'll transfer to any other school, as long as it's not an SEC school." And then your SEC schools are like University of Alabama, LSU, you know, to name some major ones, University of Georgia, all these southern schools, the big ones. That's what I'm talking about.
Yo, hey, you already know. I already know KW Don is the real one, but hey, that's why I don't even be playing what he be saying, because it applies to the household too, brother.
End of the day, they don't respect black players. They really don't. All they
listen to what he
respect
about
up
to
and
say.
down that football field.
What?
And for this man, and this, it's just not.
What gave it away when she said "shut up and dribble"? Is that what gave it away? They don't respect black players.
Not him. This is how they talk on a good day. Now let me play that one more time. This is how arrogant they are.
I mean, I said it 3 years ago.
That's right.
Let him break away. I'd say I would turn it around.
Like, what was happening 3 years ago that he would say that? Somebody, a black person, must have get shot by the police. And like, hell, let him go.
Good day. Now let me play that one more time. This is how arrogant they are.
I mean, I said it 3 years ago. Yeah. Let them break away. I'd say I would turn it around and say we should break away from them. Let them go, you know. But they have to go in all their sports and see how fun it is to play baseball and softball and track when it's just the 20 of you, you know. And that's what I think we should do. But I'm one person.
Right, when it's like hockey and water polo and all the stuff, like when there's only like 2 of y'all in the swimming pool, what are you gonna do? You ain't winning no gold medals in swimming competition. Well, no, probably will though, right? Just like there's probably a black swimmer right now that's the best in the world, right? Probably 2 years old, and then they finna be the best swimmer in the world because we adapt like that. You know what I'm saying? But we have adapted to be terrified. So a lot of us are scared of water. I ain't learned how to swim. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't learn, and it's my fault that I didn't learn. You know what I mean? It comes from programming, I guess. That's what I'm gonna blame it on.
Person, and you know, that's probably a little more draconian, but that's how I feel about it. Like, let's quit talking about it. Quit threatening.
And watch, he will be the first one running up the damn sideline saying, "Where are my niggas?" It is tip off. And that's when you know you a revolutionary. When he's saying, running up the sideline saying, "Hold on, stop. Where are my niggas?" Because they tried that, if you don't remember, if you forgot, right? And it was whack, right? Yeah, they can go back to the all-white NBA if they want to, where Bill Russell will be the best player. And there's always going to be one Negro that shows up, though, you know? But instead of saying, "Where are my Negroes?" you know why he can say that? Is because he know where his Negroes are, right? Oh, all right, let me start it over. We all know where us Negroes are.
In 2026, black folks still have to come down to this legislature and beg for something that they rightfully were born to have. And that is a right to vote and proper representation.
Wait, did he say beg? Does it say beg? Well, the right to vote without representation is tyranny. I'm going to switch it up. You know what I'm saying?
2026, black folks still have to come down to this legislature and beg for something that they rightfully were born to have. And that is a right to vote and proper representation. We live in a time where one of your colleagues can turn around and tell an audience of women and black men and women, more specifically myself, "You need to shut up, boy."
By the way, did he separate women because he was talking for white bitches? I hope not. Maybe he just misspoke. So I'm going to leave it alone.
Where one of your colleagues can turn around and tell an audience of women and black men and women, more specifically myself, "You need to shut up, boy." And you, instead of telling him and correcting him on the mic, you tell the crowd that I need to maintain order. As if we are the problem inside of this building. The people came and showed up in droves because you are trying to interrupt the flow of what they were rightfully deserved. And that is proper representation. Let me tell you what racism is. Racism is when
ability to control your own finances, the ability to control your own communities, hell, to even dump your own feces, to control your own hospitals and schools, and put your group before other people to make sure that your children are thriving, right? Now, if I was a dictator, I'm believing what Shaka Zulu said, right? Where he was like, yeah, we ain't, well, I would be, I'm not going to say I believe in what he said, but I'm going to say I'm gonna exercise some Shaka Zulu in me to be like, yo, no, we ain't exclude nobody. Ain't no good ones. You know what I'm saying? But in the system is a system that is there to protect you no matter what happens and who it is and what the circumstance is. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. So, but let's hear what this brother has to say of what it is.
racism is when you insert your privilege and you use it to push out your superiority against people who look like myself. And in the words of Congressman Cleo Fields, I wake up every day and I can't wash this off. They can't wash that off.
And by the way, I wouldn't want to. Like, I imagine if you woke up being white and then you go outside and you get boil on your skin or you got lice in your hair and stuff and can't figure it out. Like, you just have this desire not to take a bath or something. Like, why would I want that? Now, you like, yo, there's privileges. Yeah, of course we want the privileges. So let's get them then. So let's do it then. Yeah, I want the ability to go somewhere and be and know I can get a good job or to know I ain't gonna get stopped by the police or the police is actually there to help me. There's nothing stopping us from creating something with our own privileges. We can do that without having been a LIGO, as y'all would say. You know what I mean? But you know what? I didn't want to talk about this one because I had like stuff for years, but it seems like a lot of Negroes is reading rocket science books these days. You know what I'm saying? The Great Awakening as it happened, right? The new awakening.
You know, there was this culture of people openly saying some pretty horrific things about, you know, people with light skin. Just open
Ooh,
racism
mulattoes,
against
bitch.
white people. And I know that sounds
Talking about with light skin. You talking about mulattoes, bitch? What are you talking about?
you know, people with light skin. Just open racism against white people. And I know that sounds crazy because historically speaking,
Sounds
white people are
crazy.
privileged, right? But we're also living in a country.
Imagine a Negro wanting to. That'll be the day. You know what I'm saying? That only 199 years left to wait. You know what I'm saying? I hope I get resurrected on that day that it happens where black people want. Imagine that. You know what I'm saying? I imagine it every day. You know what I'm saying? Where black, no, this job is for my son. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I go into a black restaurant and you have a young black person, you know what I'm saying, like 7, 8 years old, learning how to work the register after they came from a black institution, and a black, like a line full of black people going into there to buy the stuff, you know what I'm saying, and in turn them hiring people in that. Yeah, I imagine that all the time, you know what I'm saying. Oh, is that, see, they think about it in violence because they are Neanderthals, but you got to protect what you build, you know what I'm saying? So there's that, you
But
know.
we're also living in a country right now where it doesn't matter if you're white, if you're a working class person, you're screwed. And how is it helpful to now do the reverse of the terrible, you know, bigoted or biased comments that were said about other groups of people? Like,
they've gotten way too comfortable.
Look, this is why I like being. This is why I got kicked out the cookout. This is why I get blackballed, y'all, because I was not making them comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And now, when in 5 years they're gonna come back and say help me, and then that's gonna be my dilemma. Should I say no? And because they just gonna repeat what I said 5 years ago, and I'm gonna be like, nope, I'm watching the game because that's what y'all said. Or should I not be petty? I don't know.
They've gotten way too comfortable just saying off the wall crap now. Ever since SCOTUS gutted Section 2, the masks have come off. Has there ever been an instance where white people have felt suppressed, have had their rights stripped from them by black people.
And they couldn't enslave
Have
Negroes.
black
Yeah.
slave owners captured white slaves before. Please find it. Find that for me.
Dude, guess how much it cost me to
Yes, please find that for me because that is desperately needed. I like to write the second part of the book about what happens afterwards.
I don't remember a single time where that's been the case. And if you're just equating racial slurs,
okay, yeah, I give you one. The great is not necessarily that, but the Houston riot of 1917, where these warrior brothers went around to protect themselves and defending the black community. You know what I'm saying? So that's one.
to racism, which yes, it is, but that's just scratching the surface. The N-word itself is just a word, but it's emblematic of how we weren't seen as human beings. And we don't want to be superior. Nobody wants to be superior to anybody from my culture.
Maybe that's why we got enslaved like 6 times, right, over like the last couple 100,000 years, or at least 3 times in the last 1,000 years, because we don't want to be. We want to love everybody, but is that love? Because if you don't love yourself, how can you possibly? You don't even know what love is because you don't even get it from yourself. So trust me, I know. You know,
From my culture, all we ever wanted to be was equals, equality. That's all we wanted.
there
And
you
see,
go.
a lot of people like Anna are
He forgot the comfort. Y'all want comfort as well.
people like Anna are expecting the black community to want revenge. And y'all have been waiting for this revenge for 400 years. It would have happened already if it was ever.
They would be saying, "Where all my niggas?" instead of saying, "Do it." Right? They think like they're supposed to, but at this point they catch me. You can even use it to your advantage at this point. But they was like, yeah, it's been 400 years, and they're still not saying, "Where all my niggas?"
Waiting for this revenge for 400 years. It would have happened already if it was ever going to come. We're better people than that. The racism is coming from one side. And until Anna and people like Anna are willing and ready to admit that, we're not going to get out of this. The left doesn't start with anti-capitalism.
Well, we got 199 years left, brother. So I'm not gonna let him defile y'all minds with this. We'll never get out of this. We only got 199 years left in this, and then this is faith though, right? It's faith based, but I like the direction of the next generation, and I'm not gonna say that because it's disrespectful to that generation. So I'll be quiet, you know. Okay.
They done pissed me off at work, so y'all about to get it. Calling black people monkeys while your ancestors was throwing chamber pots out of windows screaming, "Watch out!" is insane work. Y'all discovered deodorant, plumbing, and indoor toilets 5 business days ago and got the nerve to be racist online like we didn't teach y'all how to wash y'all ass with a rag or a sponge properly. Imagine calling somebody uncivilized when the streets of Europe used to literally be marinating in human feces. Let me take y'all on a history lesson since y'all forgot where the fuck y'all came from. In medieval and early modern European cities, y'all had open sewage problems. The Great Stink of London in 1858 got so bad that Parliament had to stop functioning. Versailles reportedly had major odor problems despite being associated with luxury. Heavy perfume culture partly exploded because bathing and sanitization standards were inconsistent. Chamber pots and waste dumping were normal before sewer systems, and that's how y'all lived. That's how y'all smelled. That's the way that y'all walked through the streets. That was your life. Y'all women wore dresses with the little thing up under it. I can't even think of what y'all call to make them dresses look like ballroom dresses, so that y'all could openly shit as y'all walk the streets because y'all did not have toilets. Like literally. Y'all the only people that I know catch y'all shit in y'all hand. And y'all on here talking to me crazy. The confidence of somebody whose ancestors needed a public health crisis to discover sewage systems needs to be studied. Stay the fuck off my page and stop playing with me. I be trying so hard to be respectful and to be, professional and not stoop down to y'all level. But I'm pissed off. It's
So back to who this brother wants to be integrated with, you know.
And until Anna and people like Anna are willing and ready to admit that, we're not going to get out of this. The left doesn't
Jesus
start
Christ, bro.
with anti-capitalism. It starts with anti-racism. So I just wanted to put that out.
So you mean if we put our dollars together and as based off of our as a group circumstances and that Negro, rich, poor, or whatever, aren't safe either? Okay. It started because we wanted equality, as he says. You know what I'm saying? You want to be equal to that? Like we would have to stoop down, which is probably what we're doing. Was the discernment was, oh well, these are those hood people over there. Those are those hood niggers. You know what I'm saying? And put each other down because I don't know, who do you love, you know? And I mean, I guess it's not important. The story of mulattoes, you know what I'm saying? That's another story. I'll maybe go into that later because, as my good brother John Henry Clark, this is what you're fighting for.
You hear?
Like it's 2026, and we still got to fight to be a part of this stuff, y'all, and to create these new classes of people to be whatever.
You hear? She says stupid. There you go. Yup. That's Julie for y'all. I'm posting this shit. This Julie.
Your mommy.
That's This the real Julie. Tell everybody. This ain't the fake shit. Y'all probably right at UTMC. She is racist. You heard
There's
her.
no way that she can be racist if she slept with a black man before. So I'm calling cap on that. That's what people told me. Oh, they got a black boyfriend. They invited to the cookout, right? I don't know what happens at the cookout anymore. I said they was banned, so y'all shouldn't even be having cookouts. But I got banned from the cookout, so I can't tell y'all cookouts is banned, you know.
This viral video shows a white woman calling her son the N-word, and her son happens to be mixed. He's not BLK. I'm not calling him BLK. He's neo-racial. He's Lotto, which is I feel compelled
Mulatto.
to
That's
comment
what he
on.
said.
There are people out there who are running with this story.
All right, and it's the story of
No,
mulatto.
that's
It's the
President.
story of integration, as if
Obviously,
you're.
that isn't the same for everybody because everybody is.
But I don't care. I mean, it's not that I don't care, but it's not the point right now. But all right, this is the point, you know. Shouts out to this
White
sister.
female that thinks she's the black man's dream and everybody wants her, tries to dance with him.
See, this was before she was calling that mulatto kid the N-word. This is what happened.
Ain't got no rhythm, and then boom, here come the black woman. That beautiful black woman that got all the rhythm and soul because
She
was
stopped a mulatto
genetically
child from
made
being born this day.
created for her black man.
You know, almost this is encouraging because I was about to say, damn, let me get off the last subject because I'm gonna be like, damn, we got 250 years, but maybe we got 198 if we see more stuff like this. She just stopped the mulatto from being born
And
that
watch
day.
how when they start dancing together and then coming together, got rid of the single white female.
See that black unity gets rid of the most dangerous species. You see how they got rid of that thing? Black unity, right? Black love has destroyed it.
Look at this video.
And it don't even come from you hating them because if they had kept their disgusting behavior, that Epstein culture in the dirty, dark caves in them shithole countries they come from, who would care? Nobody would care. I'm not going into some disgusting cave, you know what I'm saying? But they tried to bring it all over the world. He was like, hey, let me civilize you. And look how that turned out. But if we loved ourselves, you create boundaries and standards and stuff like that. You save each other. You look out for each other. And that sister stopped a mulatto baby from being born on this day. So maybe we gotta. Well, no, we still got 199 years left. We doing
Look, this brother, all this brother trying to do is have a good old time dancing. Here comes single white female that thinks she's the black man's dream and everybody wants her, tries to dance with him, ain't got no rhythm, and then boom, here come the black woman. That beautiful black woman that got all the rhythm and soul.
You know what the white girl? Where are my niggas? You see what Black Unity does? It stops them from. They gonna ask, "Where are my niggas?" And running up and down the south. Niggas ain't. gonna be running up and down the block from a white girl and still getting charged, right? Now the white girl said, "Where all my niggas running up and down the sideline?"
Because she was genetically made and created for her black man. And then watch how when they start dancing together and then coming together, got rid of the single white female. Ain't nothing better than that.
Damn, does the most dangerous species have a kryptonite? Is it black love and black unity? I think so. I do think so. All right. But the kryptonite to the kryptonite is being recognized, being loved. And of course, all you need is white love and all this stuff. So y'all great Pope has apologized for slavery.
Humanist travel spend.
Said my bad, y'all. Oops. We only created dysfunction and all of this stuff. My
We'll look
bad.
at new excerpts written from the writings of Pope Leo as the issues of a manifesto on the future of humanity. So in his 83-page document, Pope Leo specifically warns about artificial intelligence and examining the social areas that are most affected, including government, social media, and the economy. Another stunning matter in the text is that Pope Leo issued an apology for the Catholic Church's own role in legitimizing global slavery, calling the Vatican's record a, quote, wound in Christian memory.
So basically, my bad, y'all. Oops. Sorry for the doctrine of discovery and all of that stuff and beating that Christian
the ways that we are
stuff
seeing
into y'all. Jesus
both the
forgives,
issues that he
so you
takes.
should. And what's ironic, the old book, right? I ain't gonna say because I got some scriptures too, y'all. But the old book says God was like, yo, like an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. And then in the new book, Jesus came and said, turn the other cheek. You know what I'm saying? Yo, J Dub, that's not what God said, bro. He said that eye for an eye. Right? So there you go, Pope.
Language that he uses. In this case, talking about the institution itself in a way that it hasn't been talked about before.
1 year after Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost was announced as the new Pope, Pope Leo is releasing a document setting him apart from his
Oh yeah, I forgot they left that eye for an eye and two when they was beating into it and beating that stuff into us. They forgot to put that part in there. They ain't beat that part into us. My bad. So we don't know about that.
predecessors. Other popes have released papal writings called encyclicals, but Pope Leo's message on humanity and artificial intelligence also addresses the church's culpability for slavery in a new way.
It's different from what we've heard from previous popes in that what Pope Leo has done
Different this time, y'all.
is invoke the church as an institution.
Dr. Tina
Oh.
Miller is special.
I mean, like a system there to create to be like, you know, because they was damn sure saying, where all my niggas produce more because we need to put them in chains, just like the prisons are saying today. Where all my niggas to be in this bed? All right.
Assistant to the vice president for mission and ministry at Villanova University.
Is there something that held previous popes back from going as far as?
Yeah, being a Neanderthal, yes.
When we
A
talk
lot.
about, particularly, it is what happens most frequently is leaving that conversation at an individual level.
She says that difference matters.
He has.
Yeah, they're a Neanderthal that you said a pope. What the does a pope mean? What does that mean? Right? Like, how is he has what does what he says mean any different than any other Neanderthal in the trailer park somewhere? Can you explain that to me? And how is he making his money, by the way? Right, to not have to go to work. You sleep right now because you got to go to work. That's why y'all so quiet. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might be listening from bed. I got kicked out the cookout, so y'all probably don't listen no more. I dared said certain things, but I won't even say it today. You know.
taken this conversation to the next level and taken it to the institutional level, which has not happened before. And because of that, it is truly impossible to overstate the importance of what has happened with this document today.
The Pope's
Oh,
document
Lord.
said in part, quote, neither can we deny or diminish the delay with which both society and the church came to denounce the scourge of slavery. Pope Leo also apologizing, saying, quote, it is impossible not to feel deep sorrow when contemplating the immense suffering and humiliation endured by so many in stark contrast to their immeasurable dignity as persons infinitely loved.
As my brother said right here, shouts out to Jermaine Thompson, break bread. You know what I'm saying? And yo, my thing is saying like 0 people, but I know that's not true. But I appreciate all of y'all for listening. You know what I'm saying? But I be thinking nobody on here, so it's cool. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so much for that apology. Break bread. You know what I mean? But you know, praise Jesus, I guess.
Lord, for this in the name of the church, I sincerely ask for pardon. Pratt
My
says
bad.
these words can also create a new level of conversation within the U.S. Catholic Church.
What happens in schools, what happens in Catholic higher ed, what happens in dioceses, you know, where do we see churches closing and parishes reorganized? What communities are most deeply affected by these changes that are being made on a fairly regular basis?
No, none whatsoever, by the way.
Release Pope Leo also said human trafficking.
Okay, yeah, I got one to change that's been made. There has been a pope with like probably one black person like deep, deep, deep in their ancestry, and they mom definitely called them you know what I'm saying. So the first black pope, y'all, who has like 1/85th black, you know what I'm saying. So there's that. So yeah, and a bunch of churches is saying, "Oh yeah, my bad, y'all." Oh, hold
Instead of
on,
telling
y'all.
you about how amazing Toonby really is,
All right, yeah, don't tell us that. All right, hold on. I thought I had another one, but I don't have it on here, so my bad. But it's cool. It is what it is. Oh, maybe I do.
Mentioned the ongoing wars and AI. To take a look for Posteglu, let's get called the Vatican's role in the slave trade during the 15th century a quote wound in Christian memory. While past popes have apologized for Christians' involvement in the slave trade, no pope has ever acknowledged the Vatican's own role in giving European rulers the authority.
Yo, if we was a woman, I'd be like, yo, you got some low ass standards. You like, no pope has ever said this is the institutional change. This is a difference here. This is different somehow, even though no monetary gain has been made or no institutional gain has been made, even though no gain whatsoever has been made. But this time it is different. Praise
To
Jesus.
conquer and enslave people centuries ago. Now, the Pope's apologies about slavery was 0.176 out of 245. So a pretty lengthy letter here where he also mentioned the ongoing wars and AI.
Oh, a letter.
Take a look for yourself. We do have a link for you over on our website.
So in case you missed it, Pope Leo did something really, really monumental today. Today he came out and apologized for the Vatican's role.
Maybe I should get out of here before I say like goddamn 300 years. Because I forgot about this part. We're doomed, y'all. I forgot about the spooked out part. I was just talking about being in society. Damn.
Plagues of Egypt have begun.
We failed you by not raising our voice to speak out.
All right, my bad. I don't know the place that I was supposed to play.
Honorable dignitaries and all people of Africa.
Vos Excellences, honorables et dignitaires et tous les peuples. Nous, en tant que nation du Royaume-Uni de la Grande-Bretagne,
Confess and repent of the sins we have committed against Africa and Africans from many nations.
du pays de Galles et de l'Irlande du Nord, confessons et nous repentons des péchés que nous avons commis contre l'Afrique.
And against the living God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Au nom
Oh, no, y'all going to hell for that.
Oppressing
black people. Like you spend your whole life when they die and they realize.
Que Dieu bénisse l'Afrique.
I wonder how the racists feel when they die and they realize that Jesus is a black man. Like you spend your whole life hating, murdering, oppressing black people.
God. We're not the judges, and we can't mete out just judgment. But vengeance is his. He will repay. So when the Most High repays, then that's the Most High business.
Yo, so what if it was to repay it through you? Have you ever thought about being open to that suggestion? Maybe that energy of anger was the Most High telling you that it's time for you to make them pay for what you did to him. And that was the punishment, as opposed to you waiting on some force outside of yourself. You know what I mean? That doesn't seem to love you, but you know, that's a
I'm in agreement with the Most High. He repaying it. And see, because your eschatology is so messed up, some of y'all gonna be shocked when the day of the Lord comes.
And conquered our northern territory. They had no mandate from God to do that. When the Europeans took Christianity and used it to justify the transatlantic slave trade, they had no mandate from God to do that. So we have to recognize religion is an institution that is separate from the Almighty Creator. Religion purports to be about helping you build a relationship with the Almighty Creator, but there's
Africa by white people. Well, Africans obviously believe in Jesus because of the colonization of Africa by white people. Suddenly, a very black gentleman stepped out of the crowd and said, "Excuse me, ma'am, I am from Nigeria. I am a follower of Christ, and my church is far older than any white European or American church. I trace my faith back to Philip."
Frederick Douglass. Who gave you a master and a mistress? God gave them to me. Who says that you must obey them? God says that I must. What book tells you these things? The Bible. Now have a look at these. How do you know it's right to flog slaves? Because God sent Hagar back. How do you know it's impossible to make anyone slaves but Negroes? Because it's impossible to make anyone else slaves but Negroes. While the latter is satire, they're what typical Christian catechisms or call and response frameworks would have looked like in the antebellum South. One set was given to...
All right. But, and this brother, I played it already, but he made a great point, you know, so I'll do it again real quick.
And former
Just because I can, y'all.
and former slave terrorists ended up in heaven. How would that coexistence go? Right? How would that go? When the former slave and former slave terrorists run into each other, what would the conversation be like? I mean, hey man, remember when I had your ass in the fields, right? And you used to work, and or if they go to a slave that they murdered, hey man, remember we had your ass swinging from that tree? Yeah, you know. And it seems to me that if the cruelest thing this fucking God of yours could do was allow both groups into heaven, and would the former slaves be expected to forgive their murderers, their terrorists? Huh? Would they be expected? What?
No. See, I wanted to be like, you know, I wanted to show you what these brothers has expected. Now, you see, now I wish I had this video here, but this pastor, Jonathan Agnew, sit here and said, you know, and the video, I couldn't find it, but, you know, he was like, yo, thank God for the enslavement of Black Americans. You know what I'm saying? And he claimed that Black people in the United States are better off as a result of historical slavery. Right? This is a part of that cult, you know what I'm saying, that it comes with, you know what I mean? If it took slavery to introduce us Black folks to Jesus, then Black people should be on their knees thanking God for enslavement. Right? And see, and dude just be like, oh, my bad for that. My bad that I've psychologically damaged these Negroes so bad that they actually thank God for their enslavement. Right? Because without them, I can't believe it's 2026 and we still got to fight for comfort. What as a sheep? What if that's what It's a sheep somewhere in a lion's den. Like, I can't believe it's 2026 and I got to fight for equality in a damn lion's den. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? There is good lions who would feed me grass and all kind of stuff or whatever lambs eat. Right? Not like those filthy humans who take my fur and put them in coats and stuff and put my hair in pillows and comforters. Oh, my bad. They did that to us too, didn't they? They put our hair into like pillows and furniture and stuff, didn't they? They did that to us. Damn, sheep is not as dumb as we are. Crazy. But I guess the lions didn't go there and tell the sheeps to pray to the lion God, right? Because then you got Negroes in here that would say, thank God for slavery. Thank God
Like
for it.
people that go around and, man, I prayed to God and God blessed me with this new job and blessed me with this new house. And at the same time, he was allowing this man to be molested by his captors called slave
Neanderthals.
runners. Like, nah, I just can't accept that.
Bro, you realize we prayed our way out of slavery.
I don't, and it took 400 years for a God. No,
hold on. Were we a God praying people in the beginning of that 400 years though? You got to get credit where it's due. What y'all like to do, y'all say the white man taught us our faith, but then you want to discredit the fact that was the time where we started to get the transition out of slavery.
So as soon as you forgot about the language you speak and you forgot your last name, and by the way, we have not transitioned out of slavery, obviously, listening to this brother. But when you forgot your last name, that's when you transition. Well, brother, it's 2026 and we still got to fight for the right to vote, according to a lot of integrated Negroes.
When?
It was when we started praying to God.
Stop.
I mean, everybody always gives all the credit for everything prior to us being in America to the ancestors, but the ancestors watched us go on the slave ship. So,
like people that go around and, man, I prayed.
Jesus. In other words, y'all, you know what he's saying. Y'all know what he's saying.
I thank God for slavery. I thank God for the crack house. If it wasn't for the crack house, come on, somebody, God wouldn't have never been able to use me how he can use me now. And if it wasn't for slavery, I might be somewhere in Africa worshiping a tree.
Lord have mercy, y'all. You know what? I'm going to skip these other joints. I'm about to get off of here. But before we do, let's see what we fought to be integrated into, y'all. Let's check this out. Because as Muhammad Ali would say, we ain't got nothing no different than the dog got. And we still got to fight for that in 2026. It'd be a hell of a lot better just to do our own thing, wouldn't you say? Hey, heaven on earth is now we talking. I come to your church, should we saying heaven on earth now.
A felony.
As it is in heaven, let it so be on earth. I ain't trying to be like, why hast thou forsaken me no more? I'm tired of you forsaking me. Like, I'm done with all the forsaken stuff. It's done. Right? I expect those who's forsaken me is cool. But now it's time for heaven to be like it is on earth, Or is that like what it is? Or is it already? Is we in heaven saying, oh yeah, I forgives you?
This Houston area attorney is facing a felony bestial charge for what he allegedly did with the family dog. And you know who turned him in? His own wife, after she allegedly caught it on a video. His name's Stephen Tyler Swain. He's 56 years old, and this apparently happened in November of 2025.
Very true, Raw. I can get fruit from a tree. I can't get fruit from a Bible, that's for sure. Or I can't get Jesus has never given me fruit, but a tree has. You know what I'm saying? Sustenance.
As you can see, he's married. They have twin daughters, and they have two.
Also, actually build shelters using them, or hell, fires using them, or whatever the case that I need in real life. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, shouts out the trees. You know, of course the Neanderthal is going to burn them down. So you know what I'm saying? We ain't in Africa no more, so we ain't got to worry about it.
Sons. So according to the reports, they were having some home renovations done. There were a lot of contractors at the house. And so they decided to install surveillance cameras just to make sure nothing was going on that shouldn't be going on. But something was, allegedly, and it didn't involve the contractors. It involved their family dog, Shipley. And let's just say there was licking. Now, I've only seen the first couple pages of the report, and let me tell you.
And they blanked the dog face out.
It's disgusting.
It would show a black person hung or like shot in the street, and they blanked the dog face out because they like, oh, the dog got violated. That's the crazy part. That's a Neanderthal for you. It's a weird species. They said the dog got
In addition to what he was allegedly
but
doing to
you
the dog,
going through slavery and get raped, all that stuff? No,
SDS
that's not
workers
violation.
inside the home. Anyway, look, this is the bio on his website. It says S.
All right. My bad.
Background checks on the police, because how this happened, a K-9 officer was sentenced to 20 years because he pleaded guilty to have some kitty videos and whatnot. Just to be clear, that alone should get you 20 years plus. But the second thing he did was he R-word, aka Me Too'd his own retired dog. You doing nasty stuff to the dog. First of all, he worked for you, found all that cocaine, and then you reward him with retirement. And in his retirement, you slip him a pill or something like that. Oh Lord, what's going on with the police? He didn't have to plead guilty because he looked.
All right, is this who you want in charge of your institution? This dude is a cop having sex with a dog, and you respecting his authority. I ain't gonna say I don't know what the Pope does, but I'm gonna say I wouldn't leave my dog around the Pope. That's for sure. That Neanderthal culture. But the point is, man, there is no more cookout. Shouts out to Shaka Zulu, and shouts out to these brothers. You know what I'm saying?
They are neighbors on a mission across Detroit. The team and volunteers with New Era Detroit proactively focusing on youth engagement right now and issuing a call to action for men across the city to join them in hitting the streets this summer. They're walking block by block across different communities, engaging local youth.
And I agree with that. You know, going through the city, engaging with the youth so that we can become the ones who pass down the information, so we ain't stuck learning it in the same cycle over and over. You know what I'm saying? And the same enslavement over and over. Right? So they can have them up there saying, "Where are my niggas?" Right? We need to teach
Neighbors on a mission across Detroit. The team and volunteers with New Era Detroit proactively focusing on youth engagement right now and issuing a call to action for men across the city to join them in hitting the streets this summer. They're walking block by block across different communities, engaging local youth.
I always look at like the summer months as a great opportunity for people to come out, get involved in that community. You know, so many people always talking about the problem, and we've become such a huge culture of just talking about the problem, but very little people want to put the work in and figure out solutions.
Zeke Williams is the nonprofit's president and CEO. The group specifically calling on Black men to show up for the Brothers on the Block program every other Thursday. The organizers say that call to action is intentional.
We talk about kids this, kids that, you know, it's on the parents, man, and particularly Black men. You know, it's a lot of kids out there without men in their life. You know, what do we do with that? We got to become a village. So how do we do that?
New Era Detroit says when men insert themselves in the neighborhood, it's about leadership and representation. It's about letting youth and vulnerable neighbors know they are seen, they're heard, and they're supported.
We need y'all.
We talk to a little bit of everybody. You know, we talk to the elders, we talk to the working class people, we talk to other Black men, we talk to sisters. But most importantly, we build those key core relationships with the kids.
New Era Detroit is optimistic more men participating in programs like Brothers on the Block can make a huge impact.
And Zeke, how is Brothers on the Block making a difference? What are you guys seeing?
We seeing a big difference. You know, when you see, 30 to 40 men at minimum every single time, that we come out and, it's heavy engagement, it's present, it's love, it's embracing.
Supporters say there's never an excuse to come out and get involved.
And Brothers on the Block is one of seven.
Yeah, and shouts out to these brothers, for sure, you know what I'm saying? Because one thing they gonna always do is hate on our institutions, right? And hate on our brothers, you know what I'm saying? Because this was one I was gonna show, but it ain't no point. About them being mad about us creating our own hospitals and stuff like that. And oh no, this ain't it. For the site of a black-owned doctor directory, you know what I'm saying? So we need to create more of these and support it. It doesn't matter what they do. Of course, they're always gonna hate on it, you know what I'm saying? But shouts out to these brothers for doing what needs to be done, you know what I mean? So for these brothers to do that, and I'm what they would call an introvert person myself, you know what I'm saying? But definitely this summer I will try, like, even if it's on my own and not necessarily with them. They're in Detroit, and I'm in Richmond, but I need to be doing something as well myself. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm definitely going to do that. You know what I'm saying? But I'll let this brother say this again to kind of wrap up what we're talking about today.
White man does the popular dance, the whoa, while reporting. White man does the White man does the popular dance, the whoa, while reporting the weather. Comment section reads, Tom definitely invited to the cookout. Another video shows a white man dancing on stage and the caption reads, it's obvious why Mark is invited to the cookout, where we slide like black lightning across the backyard and turn it into a dance for the cookout be sacred. But ain't that just like us? Inviting everyone into our holy place is crazy. How all you got to do is know how to Dougie to dodge accountability. Wash white privilege out with a whip and a nay-nay, they call it muscle memory. They've been whipping nay-nay for centuries. Crazy how when we dance, we get called coons. But Brad dances and gets an honorary plate full of ribs. We keep feeding them like they didn't force chitlins down our throats. Keep dancing. They shuck and jive their.
By the way, they don't gotta force chilling down y'all throat no more. Y'all gonna eat them. I hope in the 199 years, y'all be done with that chilling stuff. But that one bridge at a time, y'all.
Keep dancing. They shuck and jive their way to acceptance, and it's appalling how easily we forget just because Becky can footwork and Allie makes foo-foo. Invitations for the cookout flying off the shelf in the comment section. Hey, bro, do you remember when we invited one of them to our Bible study? 9 of us were told, well done that night. So excuse my...
He said, do you remember when we invited him to a Bible study? And we probably don't, but guess what? 9 people ended up dying, murdered. And then the dude got fed Burger King because you invited him into a prayer circle. Imagine inviting them into your business meeting and shit. They beat the prayer circle into you. They don't want you to have the business meeting. So imagine what they'll do for that.
Them to our Bible study. 9 of us were told, well done that night. So excuse my caution for Caucasians casually crip walking for convenience, lying and line dancing, looking like a fool. The cookout. Man, they used to cook us out over open fires, cut pieces of our flesh off, mason jar our hands, claiming can't nobody catch a beat like him. They watching Soul Train reruns, but won't let us teach their children about the Underground Railroad. So look, since when did dancing erase Jim Crow? Since when did dancing erase school to prison pipeline? Since when did dancing erase redlining? So before you mail out your cookout invitations, remember that they used to think of us as stiff body boogie down chatter. Bible. They used to make us dance across the decks of ships, and some of us leapt to freedom gracefully. The break of the water surface was a pearly gate, a jetty into the Lord's arms, and the cookout so packed with pale faces, it ain't no room for my grandkids. And I refuse to ask for space. In my space, I'm indigenous to the groove and the potato salad. Invite me to the country club. Hold the casserole.
Yeah, I ain't going to.
Let's talk about reparations. Maybe then we could talk about cookouts. Until that happened, all cookout invitations are revoked. Period. Management.
So, and the brother didn't get the memo. Shaka Zulu canceled all cookouts in the 1800s. I canceled all cookouts in a few years ago, but it doesn't matter what I say. I got banned from the cookouts, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, I appreciate y'all for listening. I didn't even know. So shouts out to Raw, shouts out to Jermaine, KW, Don 7, shouts out to Karma 804. Shouts out to my brother Koku. Shouts out to Matron. Make sure y'all subscribe to Matron. And I appreciate her for sure for reading the book. And shouts out to everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, shouts out to Cassidra. I gotta say that too. We'll be back Wednesday. So much love to her and much love to all of y'all. At the end of the day, man, it's who do you love? And before you answer that question, I need you to realize that you can't love nobody else if you don't love yourself in the first place. And if you ain't exercising boundaries to stop what is happening to you and enforcing those boundaries, then I mean, how much love is it? So, I mean, think about that, you know. Now, I want to try to find this. So, this is the good last words. It comes, you know, sometimes they write itself, you know what I'm saying? So, for the last words, I kind of knew it was this, but I wanted to save it for Cassidra with the Wilder Babies, but this ain't the Wilder Babies, but somehow my brother, I kind of knew it, but I didn't know which one until now. So that's how I know I'm on the right track. And I probably shouldn't be I shouldn't. That's what lets you know I'm an introvert, because I guess I piss off everybody. But I also think that what I'm saying is correct, and obviously y'all don't, because what are our goals? You know what I'm saying? But I'm the one running up and down the court saying, "Where all my niggas?" as they leave me out to dry. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to all my brothers. You know what I'm saying?
I'd like to, before I get into the body of my lecture, read a poem for you. I normally don't read poems, but this was just so good. I got to read this one. You want to hear a poem at the African Poetry Theater? Here where culture is a weapon. All right? The poem is called, it's by brother Taim, the poem is by Taimbe Jess. And the poem is, when niggas love revolution like they love the bulls. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, youth will wear red, black, and green patches over the emblems on their starter jackets. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, brothers will gather regularly at barbershops and corner stops to discuss George Jackson and to discuss the handbook of revolutionary. Before I get into the body at the African Poetry, brother Taim, it's niggas love revolution like they love the bulls. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, youth will wear red, black, and green patches over the emblems on their starter jackets. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, brothers will gather regularly at barbershops and corner stops to discuss George Jackson and to discuss discuss the handbook of revolutionary warfare and people's war before they go home to take care of their children each night. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, playground basketball courts will become paramilitary training grounds where we learn to shoot guns at the enemy and not baskets for bets. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, we will spend hours and hours watching our children grow into soldiers and not basketball players. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, we will know CIA stats, FBI stats, infant mortality stats, police brutality stats, political prisoners and prisoners of war, and literacy training techniques like we know Paxson's shoe size, or Shaq's shoe size, or the way we know Rodman or Pippen's rebounds, or Grant's salary, and all the intimate details of Michael's last gambling spree. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, you will be able to ask any youth on the street, who is Sundiata Acoli? Who is Assata Shakur? Who is Sekou Odinga? Who is Ruchell McGee and Jonathan Jackson? You will be able to ask, who is Matula Shakur? Who is Queen Mother Moore? And they will be able to tell you without skipping a beat. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, you will go on to ask them about Michael Jordan, and they will say, who? When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, masses of us will go down to tear up Carolina coroner and his office to find out what really happened to James Jordan instead of waiting on the word of newspapers and sheriff's offices. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, we will show up in Washington, D.C. with the Million Man March with our God and with our guns. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, they will start to seriously wonder why one Negro putting a brown ball through a white net makes more money in one season than they will make in an entire lifetime, and do something about it. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, you will see Phil Jackson running up and down an empty court minutes before game time screaming, where are my niggas? Where are my niggas? Where are my niggas? As the niggas leave the stadium to go build liberation schools in their community. When niggas, where are my niggas? Where are my niggas? As the niggas leave the court minutes before game time and up and down an empty Phil Jackson. You will see Phil Jackson running up and down an empty court minutes before game time screaming, where are my niggas? Where are my niggas? Where are my niggas? As the niggas leave the stadium to go build liberation schools in their community. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, all niggas will refuse to shoot ball with the president with or without their dashikis on. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, will become associated with the sound that CIA agents, snitches, rats, and agent provocateurs who join our organizations and work against the legitimate aspirations of our people who yearn to breathe free, drug dealers and others will make when they are thrown gracefully face first into open manholes. Whoosh. When niggas love revolution.
I realized y'all didn't even hear me when I said that, but I was like, when he said, I'll go back.
Like they love the bulls, Nike will no longer be able to sell $160 basketball shoes in the black community because we would rather spend the money on liberation and revolution. Thank you. When niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, they will love it more than chitlins, more than all my children, more than Jerry Curls, more than permanents, more than Cadillacs and Mercedes-Benz and Rolls-Royces and BMWs, cause when niggas love revolution like they love the bulls, when niggas love their family like they love the bulls, when niggas love their children like they love the bulls, when niggas love to be free like they love the bulls, when like they love the bulls, love dignity like they love the bulls, when niggas love all the bullshit will hit the fan.
Yeah, right on, right on. And just because I got cut off, I said at this point, instead of Phil Jackson running up and down the court saying, "Where all my niggas?" the SEC will be saying before kickoff or before tip off, saying running up and down the court. That white boy that said, "I dare you," will be the first one running up and down the court saying, "Where all my niggas?" instead of me saying, "Where all my brothers and sisters?" You know.
You will see Phil Jackson running up and down an empty court minutes before game time screaming, "Where are my niggas? Where are my niggas? Where are my niggas?" as the niggas leave the stadium to go build liberation schools in their community.
Right. So shouts out to that good brother, and shouts out to brother. Oh, that's that Roy from with a different channel. Shouts out to my brother right there. You know what I'm saying? If that's especially if that's the same brother. Yeah, it's been a minute, but it's like he said, man. When we show up for each other, even if it's with God, saying praise God, but pass the ammunition, right? And when we stop saying we as a football team, like we the Cowboys and we the whatever basketball team or football team that you say we to, and we start saying we as black people, then we would be somewhere because we are all we got, you know what I mean? But as always, man, we have got to start standing for something or we gonna keep falling for anything.